Morning everyone, it's Lynn from Lynn's Crafts. I'm here today to do a tutorial on these paper roses that I showed in one of the last videos. In a video. After the weekend we've just had, I don't even know where I'm at right now. We just had 3 days. Now, keep in mind I live in Texas, everybody. We just had 3 days of sleet and snow and rain and horrible weather for here. I'm used to, at Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's still being in the 60s and 70s. It doesn't normally get really cold here until January and February. That's, to me, my miserable months. January, February, and into March. So, hubby even got up this morning to leave for work, and his work truck, his diesel, didn't want to start. So, he had to get out there and find where he actually had a bad connection. So, he finally got off to work. So, the sun is not quite up yet, but here we go. I'm just going to show you a little prep, and then I'll take my blanket off and show you how I made these. These are, I've made lots and lots of different roses. And here's some of the other ones. I just thought I'd grab a couple out and show you. This one is a really similar technique, but you do a lot of more prep work with your petals before you put the flower together. On this one, it's like you fold the edge of the petal several times, and then you crease in the center of the petal and fold the petals in half, and there's just quite a bit more prep work for the petals that go into a rose like this. And I can do a tutorial again on those. These are similar but slightly different. As you can see, the center, I'll try to hold them up here together. Obviously, they're different sizes. The center on this one is a closed center, and that's done with actually a little pony bead in the center for you to glue to that helps just a little bit with keeping you from burning your fingers so bad. So this is the first rose that I learned to do, and the original tutorial that I watched was actually Leonie, my passion for paper, here on YouTube. A couple of years ago I had watched her rose tutorial video, and she may actually have several. I'm not sure about that. I haven't looked up rose tutorials in quite a long time. So I keep just playing around and making different ones depending on the project. Obviously these were made for a steampunk project, and so I kind of like their a little more angular, sharp look. Then like these to me almost have a watercolor look that is just so pretty. So in preparation, I have my medium. I think it's the medium. I think it's called medium. It actually may be called the large, and the next one be the extra large. I'm not sure. But there's a small, this size, and then there's the bigger one. This is the 2-inch punch. And you do not, I repeat, do not have to have a punch to make these, because the first 100 I made, at least I did by hand. So that's what I have this sitting out here for, because I actually took the lid of this and drew a circle and divided it into sections and made a pattern originally to make my flowers. And boy was I glad when I finally got the punch. So to make 3 flowers, you're going to need 12 petal sections. Each flower is only four petals. You can do more to make them fuller. You can glue them tighter to make them smaller. Lots and lots of different variations you can do on these flowers. I even did some that I finished the petals, and then after they were dry I stamped on them. Really cute. So it doesn't have to be Lindy stamp gang sprays. Any of your sprays will work. You can do paint. You can leave them white. The list is probably endless. There's probably things I'm not even thinking of right now. I'll get done with the video and think, well, why didn't I say that? I'm sure everybody does that. So I'm going to clean up this mess and get my stuff out. Again, the petals your spray, something to spray some water, or you could probably just dip them in a bowl of water for all I know. Haven't tried that, but I'm sure you could. It's just wetting them. And then I've got my spray box. My nasty, disgusting, I've literally used it for years, probably at least 2 years, spray box. It's got glue strings, it's pretty gross, so. Spray, flower petals. Oh, and glue. So, I need to turn my hot glue gun on. That would probably help. Alright. Again, I'm not going to show these other roses in this video. I'll come back if anybody wants to see. And these are probably the one with the little pony beads in the center. These are probably the most difficult and time-consuming. I do like the look of them, but I don't make them very often, just because of that. And these may be my new favorite. If I could figure out, well, I'll just have to paint it on. I was going to say, if I could figure out how to spray just the tips and leave the centers white, that would be awesome. But, hello, paintbrush Lyn. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I've got my petals, my spray water, my color that I've chosen, and this is just going to be an experiment because I've already used all of the colors, so to speak, that I have. So I've grabbed a Moonshadow Mist, and it's the Smoky Sapphire. So I've got an idea in mind. We'll see how these turn out. Got an idea for a project, so we shall see. I figured I'd start out just so we can call it a start to finish, even though I'm only going to cut one. There we go. So, I officially punched. And you can definitely do this same technique with any of the size punches. I really want the small one so I can make some small ones. Bigger is not necessarily that much more difficult. You just leave it more open like this. I might could see using the large or extra large or whatever it's called size punch, but I get plenty of use out of this one. And just gluing it tighter, you can make them smaller for sure. So I'm going to now, alright, like I said, for 3 flowers, and I usually make 3 because on any given project I probably would never use more than 3, unless I was doing 2 matching projects, which I do a lot. And of course then I have to go back and make more, so I'm going to get my spray box, and I'll lay all 12 of these petals out and spray them at the same time, even though I'm probably only going to make 1 flower in the video. But I want to go ahead and get them all sprayed at one time. And I'll just lay them down on the paper and just give each one a good spritz. And you're going to think when you spray it at first that it's not enough. But since we're going to spray it with water, again, now by all means, if you want it richer and darker, keep spraying. But if you want this watercolor kind of look, just the 1 spray is enough. So, I'll spray these and I'll be right back. I just can't, I don't think I could spray on camera. I can't get far enough away. And I probably should say before I come back with them sprayed, this is it's just from Walmart. This is the 110-pound Georgia Pacific cardstock. This stuff is fantastic for these flowers. You can use a lighter weight paper. I'm not going to say I'd necessarily suggest it, because when you crumple these after we spray them with water and you crumple them, you can get tears. Usually it's not that big a deal as long as it doesn't tear the petal completely off. But a lighter weight is going to, of course, tear easier. So I think for 150 sheets it's like whatever it is, $5.88 or whatever the Walmart price is. So 150 sheets for $6 is pretty good. Alright, now I really will spray them and I'll be right back. Okay, now got them sprayed. A quick tip if you have trouble with your Lindy Stamp Gang sprays. When I shake mine, I spin it in my palms like that instead of shaking it up and down. If I shake them straight out of the sitting there, if I shake it up and down, every time it'll clog the sprayer on me. So if I spin it like that until you've got all the sediment off the bottom, I'll almost say never, but almost never have problems with my sprayer clogging. So, alright, I've got these sprayed, and just like I said before, when I sprayed them, when I turned them over, I went ahead and took the time to line it back up pretty good so that I could save the interesting background paper that it made. Yes, I know I'm crazy, but I hate to waste the paper. It looks so pretty. That beautiful blue shimmer. Smoky sapphire. Liken. Alright. I'll get set up and I'll be right back. Okay, since each flower takes 4 petals, I'm going to spray them 4 at a time. I've just got my little spray bottle full of water. And I'm going to, I don't want to say saturate them, but get them pretty wet. I want it to soak through on both sides, even though I'm not going to turn it over wet the other side. Give that just a second. Alright, and then I'm literally going to put them in the palm of my hand. Try to get them to let go of the glass. And I'm going to crumple them. And wad them into a tight little ball. And what you want to try to do is you want to try to put a fold or a wrinkle or a crease in every petal. You don't want any of them to be flat. And I know it looks like I'm killing them, but now gently separate them, and of course, you know, I'll wind up with inky fingers. I can't craft without wearing it. This is probably the most difficult part, is the unfolding the petals. And not that it's difficult, you just have to pay attention. Here is where you can, if you're not careful, tear your petals at the thinnest part there. So I just flatten them out, lay them down for a second. And the next step, we're going to heat them, is what completely changes the texture of the paper. But this, of course, is why you don't have to do any of the breaking down your fibers of your paper or shaping or anything, because this does it for you. And since I really want y'all to see what the whole thing is, I'm not going to cut. I'm going to let you see how long it takes to make one. And of course, when you're not doing it watching through the camera, it probably does go just a little faster. Okay, now we've got them done. And now the disclaimer, the warning, the whatever. I'm actually going to heat them with the heat gun, so bear with me. You want to heat them really good. You want to get them super dry. That's what's going to create that texture. I'm really liking these already. And they will shrink up just a little bit from what they were. Okay, sorry y'all had to hear all that. One more. Okay. Now, we've got them. That one could have taken just a little bit more. These 4 really different feeling than these. But you can see how much of the iridescence has been knocked down just a little bit. So when you're done and have it all glued together and everything, you can shoot it just a quick spritz to bring that shimmer back up. Okay, and I've already got my heat gun heated up. So here's what we're going to do. Just bend up at the fold, or at the center circle, fold up each petal just to give it a little bit of a crease. Now I'm going to take my glue gun, and I'm going to put a drop right here on the edge of one petal. Come on, glue gun. And you don't need much, but you do need some. So just a drop. Now I'm going to take the next petal and I'm going to put it almost completely over the first petal. I'm going to leave like a third of it showing, cover up about 2/3 of it. Can you see that? Yeah, there you go. Now I'm going to keep doing that around. A drop on the edge. Take the next petal. Bring it over. Just about like that. Now after I get to about the third one like this, I'm going to start to shape it. And because this paper is so thick, you almost can't feel the hot glue. And since you're just using a drop right here at this first, you really probably won't be burning yourself. Because trust me, I've been there and done that. Okay, and we've got our 4 petals glued together. And at this point, I will really shape it, like as if you were going to go ahead and glue it together. And then we'll bring our last petal up and glue it. So they're all glued together except for gluing the closure. Now the only thing you want to do here is make sure that your bottom is kind of flat. And go ahead and close it and see what you think. Is it tight enough? I might be in camera, it might help. Is it tight enough? Is it loose enough? I pretty much like it. So again, a drop of glue in there and bring it around. There you go. And I'll flatten the bottom out a little bit. You sort of maintain your little star shape here, which makes it a little easier to line up in your next petal. So what I'm going to do is, come on glue gun, you're not happy this morning. Just in the center, I'm going to start with the glue just in the center, and you want to take your points. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you because this color is not that contrasting. Try to take your points and put them in the center of your petals if you can. It becomes a little more important on the next couple of rows. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to put a drop of hot glue on the petal. Again, just just a bit, and stick the petal down. And I'm going to stick it down more on one side than the other. I'm going to let one side stay lifted up and the other side get stuck down a little more. This is what's going to help maintain that flowering out look that a rose has. Next petal, if you do these in succession, they'll all just lay down just right. Let's see, like that. I'm sorry, I keep looking over the camera, that's why I keep getting out of frame. And after you make one or two of these, they really do go a lot faster because I'm trying to show what I'm doing. It's a little slower. Now, your last one here, I usually do a practice run. You're going to tuck it in on the one side. So, again, with the glue in the same spot. This kind of helps to hide your glue so you don't have a lot of shiny glue showing. There we go. So see how they all go the same way, all travel in the same direction. Alright. One more time. Again, try to line your points up in the center of the petals. That's what offsets your petals from one another. Same thing again, except this time you won't have to worry about the angle of them. You just want to run your glue where it'll glue along the edge of this petal. And again, this paper is thick enough that I can barely feel the heat traveling through the paper. Now, of course, if you put a good glob of glue, you're going to feel it, but I find that it doesn't seem to be necessary on these, as long as you don't heat them too much afterward. You know, a little bit's okay, but... Okay, our last petal. Now you're going to try to line up your gaps, your gap here, with the center of your petal there. Now, you can choose to not, you can choose to not glue your petals here and just scrunch the bottom. In most instances, you're pushing it into a grouping of flowers anyway, so they don't necessarily need to be glued. If you want that tighter, less open look, again, just down in the crease here, put you a drop of glue. Now you can just shake your petals just the least little bit, and there you've got it. A soft, crumpled, watercolor look rose. And of course, super easy to give it a little second shot in the center to make it look a little deeper and darker. So there we go. Any questions, feel free to ask. I can come back and do an update if you need to know anything. So. There they are. Super fun. I really like this technique. It's a lot less prep work on your petals. You just paint them, spray them with the water, crumple them. It's the same way I make the carnations, is to just paint the pinked edge circles. Just take circles and run your pinking shears around them, and do the same technique. Paint them and then spray them with water and crumple them, and scrunch them up and glue them back together. I do have a tutorial on that. So. Okay, so that's it. The rose tutorial. I'm going to call it the crumpled watercolor rose. So there we go. I shall be back with the mini album. I keep promising. I promise I'm going to get the video done. It's just going to be long. So I'll be back. I'll holler at y'all later. Bye now.